What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 53, and today we're sitting down with the co-creators of the web series Love Asterisk on YouTube, and we're going to talk about getting your message out there. Stay tuned. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Lab Rat Dailies show, the in-between show of me and Kevin on Wednesdays on the Get in the Lab podcast, talking about building a business together. And in the in-betweens of that show is the Lab Rat Dailies. Every day has a theme. Today's theme is Motivation Monday. All right, so today on the show, guys, I'm bringing on two special ladies from a web series. They reached out to me via email, and they asked me to promote their show. I said, well, in order for me to promote your show, you got to do something for me. Ask me a question on the show. And so they did. And they said, how do you appeal to a wider audience or something like that? And so I kind of laid it out for them in episode number something. Remind me of that episode. I forget. You can leave it in the comments if you remember, for all of the people that actually watch the show. And the thing is, guys, it's really important for me, for one thing, and for you guys, that the content remains pure, so to speak. And so whenever I bring somebody on to be interviewed or to be on the show, I don't want it just to be like this grab of a name, grab of a number or an audience. It has to mean something to me. Okay, so it has to mean something. And so that's why I created episode number 50 and 51, is to show you that I appreciate people who actually take the time to listen to the content of the show, pay attention to what we are saying, and implement that and put it into action when they're asking for an interview or anything that they're executing in their own business and in their own life. Okay, so I want you guys, like everything that we say on the show, you know, like creating better content, creating with heart, and how to reach out to me in the right way. I do mean those things. I'm very, very genuine about what I say. And so, yeah, I just want to emphasize that a little bit more. So with this interview, I asked them to be on the show because I feel like their message is really, really, really good, and it really resonated with me personally, because which you'll see in the interview is that they started creating this show based on the fact that they had pretty kind of rough, what they call situationships. Not really relationships, situationships, which I love that. They didn't coin that term, they said, but I really like that term because that's what I went through, and that's what brought me into this space of creating content, was because I was going through such turmoil emotionally that had to deal with relationships and love and money too, but mostly relationships and love and stuff like that, and finding out who I was, really. And so that's the reason why I'm here, and that's the reason why I support these people and their message, these women, and the fact that I don't really talk about women's issues, but I feel very, very strongly as to, I feel responsible in that fact of what kind of message I'm putting out there as well, even though most of my audience is mainly men. So I still want to put that out there, that I do support women, and I do get behind feminism issues and things like that. Not to be super political on the show, but I support what I believe in. I support what I believe in, and I want you guys to support what you guys believe in as well, and whatever those things are. But what's important is that you take a stand in for what you believe in, okay? And so that is why I asked them to be on the show. And it starts off a little slow, like in all interviews kind of do, and I'm not a pro interviewer, so please bear with that, and please bear with the quality of the recording. I always kind of cringe when I see Google Hangouts or Skype interviews, even though I do them, because the quality is not there. But it's still very important to be able to recognize that, oh, my battery's gonna die, that there are great messages out there that need help to be spread. Okay, so please check this out and enjoy. Thank you guys for being here with me. I have the creators of the new web series Love Asterisk here on the Lab Rat Dailies, and thank you so much, guys, for being with me today. And yeah, thank you. And if you could go ahead and introduce yourselves. Bertha, you can go first, and then Victoria, you can go.
Okay, my name is Bertha. I'm one of the creators. Should I say my last name? Bertha Leal.
Yeah.
I'm one of the creators of Love Asterisk. I'm an actress, producer, writer. That's me.
Awesome, awesome.
She's
Vicky.
actually a lot more than that, but she's being modest. So I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
I'm Victoria Collado, but y'all can call me Vicky, and I'm the co-creator, co-writer, co-director, co-emotional breakdowner of Love Asterisk, and I direct mostly on the side, and every once in a while I dabble in acting as well.
Awesome. Okay, so the reason why I ask you guys to be on the show is because, for one thing, I have a love for the process of acting, and I don't kind of boast anything like that I act or anything, but I respect the fact that there's a kind of like um, skill involved in putting yourself out there and what that kind of takes to be an actor, because I feel like sometimes being an introvert and coming on camera and vlogging and talking about whatever I talk about, I had to kind of act first,
Mhm.
and I don't call myself an actress or anything like that, but there's like a process or
Yeah,
kind
but
of
there's
like a thing.
definitely performance involved. Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there's a performance. So I wanted to ask you guys, why a web series in the first place? Were you like, how did this all start? How did Love Asterisk start? Why don't you explain what Love Asterisk is?
Hmm.
Do you want to start it, Dee?
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. Vicky and I, we had recently moved in together. We're roommates as well.
Hmm.
And we were just discussing, our previous past emotional romantic train wrecks. She was going through a bit of a heartbreak. I was still dealing with some residue stuff that had happened from a previous relation situationship. It wasn't a relationship. So we were just talking about that, and we one night we dug into this one guy, her ex, and he had sent her a very confusing text message. It was like, "We love you too," and I believe it was LOB, and
Mm-hmm.
we went off on it. We're like, what does this mean? He doesn't want to like tell you he loves you, but he's trying to take care of your feelings, but like not hurt you. So we just went into this 3 hour freaking discussion as to what it means or what it meant. And then, 3 hours later, he responds with love and an asterisk. Like it was a typo. So we thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like the funniest thing we've done. We had just seriously sat there for 3 hours discussing what this one text meant. Turns out to be complete typo. So we were when we wrote it, I think it was almost like making fun of that thing that I find a very girl thing to do, to sit there and analyze everything, every
Yeah.
small thing. It's a sign, it means something. So it was making fun of ourselves at the same time, also speaking up for those girls that have been there in that situation, and that weird, like, what is this? Where are we? That's
Mhm.
where it came from, the idea.
Okay, so when did you guys start creating videos? I'm a little confused as to, because like we made an episode, right? And I was talking about how like your channel could be more accessible to people like me who are like, okay, what's it about? Like, who are you guys? And so how long have you guys been making videos
Individually, I want to
for
say,
the show?
well, for this show, well, actually, this is the first, so we're part of this collaborative cohort called Three to
Oh,
Five. And so it's five of us that we love working together. And so we have done like little things, and mostly film based or theater based. And Love Asterisk was really our first try at web series. So this is the first time we've ever, as a group, said this is our online content. We're still learning in the process. It is ridiculous. Like, I spend hours on YouTube trying to figure out how to make it more accessible. But kind of the way we did it was we thought about, well, it's like Netflix, right? Like, if I want to watch everything, I'm not going to wait. I'd rather just watch the whole thing. So we were like, well, we're going to pre-record everything. We're going to edit everything. We're going to make sure that everything's done. And then we're going to release all 10 episodes at the same time.
It wasn't like we wrote an episode, shot it, edited, and put it up. We treated it as a full season of anything. Like House of Cards is a perfect example, because they write it, they have the writing period, their shooting period, their editing, and then they release it to Netflix all together, so you can binge watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We had a writing process, we had a shooting process, then we went into editing, and then finally, when it was time to release it, it was an entire season 1 of.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what you guys should do is make a trailer stating that.
Yeah.
I love binge watching shows.
Yeah.
And like, if I knew that, then I could tune in and then, create a playlist for all of the, all whatever episodes in season 1. That
We
way
do.
play, right? And so
Yeah.
when I visit the channel, a big thing is like, okay, so where's all the shows? So that would be like an incredible way to kind of organize your content for people who want to consume it that way. Definitely, I would want to consume it that way.
Yeah. So we have a playlist. But see, this is where I think the newbies in us is coming in and kind of really experimenting. But we have a playlist that's made, and we have like a playlist of a couple of our, what we call Vicky and B Spill the Tea, which is our little.
That's why I was confused. I was like, oh, so is it just like, just you two sitting in your room talking, or is it an actual show? Like,
I think.
Go ahead, B.
Yeah, the Vicky and B Spill the Tea, it was just supposed to be a very small interview with the creators to promote the show, just to give you a behind the scenes, and then it became this little, I want to say like a thing that we would release a little video every week to keep people tuning in, and maybe that's what we were missing. Hey, to check out the web series. That was just a way to keep creating content for them to keep coming back.
Gotcha. All right, so this is kind of fun because I don't really get to. I'm such a tomboy everywhere else, but like I don't get to indulge in my girly side, which is a big reason as to why I started creating content and being here on YouTube. Was I went through a little. What did you call it? Situationship?
A situationship. Yeah. I do not take responsibility for that term. I read it somewhere. I am not that witty. That is
cute. That was a situation, you know what I'm saying? So, how has it been, like, you guys being actresses and now putting that into an actual formulated piece of content, which is a show? How is that kind of relating back into your own self-dev and how you kind of perceive relationships and life now that you've had a chance to?
Wow. Good question.
Good question. Well, I think for me, where I was at the beginning of writing Love Asterisk, it was very from a place of confusion, and I didn't understand what was really happening, and I was still dealing with all those, again, leftover emotions. So I was still very raw about that thing that happened. But I think what is beautiful about the creative process and what is great about putting things on paper and creating art out of that is that it transforms into something else. So for me, it was purging of all those crazy emotions, and I found that at the end of it, I was so what's the word I'm looking for? I was just so at peace with it all. I was like, okay, I wrote it down, it's up somewhere, and I am no longer responsible. So I have a very different perspective on that relationship where I am now than when I did at the beginning of writing.
That resonates with me so much because I felt like for 2 years after that whole relationship, I had to write about it, I had to blog about it, I had to create videos about it, and they're all very terrible because that's when I first started creating content, and things were just coming out, and purging is the perfect word. Until you finally be like, oh, it's done.
It's done, right? It's not inside you, it's out in the whatever. If it's bad prose or whatever it is, at least it's not on you. Yeah, I agree with that. That's how I felt. I mean, Vicky.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with everything she said. I think the additional part that we didn't really consider was that people would actually watch it. And by people, I mean the people that you wrote about watch it. And
Really?
yeah, and it was actually a very cathartic moment. We were able, like, it was nice. I actually had a conversation with him afterwards, and he was like, "Wow, the show's great. It's so funny." And I was like, "Oh, that's really nice."
Wow, you got
Um,
closure, huh?
we got closure, and I actually thought, I mean, it'd be really cool, and I kind of suggested it to him, but I don't think he'll do it. I'm like, it'd be really cool to see what your side of this whole thing is, because I realized in our conversation, he was talking about it and watching, and he was able to kind of feel refreshed about my side of things. And I was like, well, I wish I could kind of see what your side of things look like, because I'm pretty sure I look completely different than this. But it's been, we did this for career purposes, because we wanted to create content and stay on top of our game and develop ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's actually helped us develop as women. And kind of what you said at the beginning of the question was, how has that changed how we view relationships? I mean, for one thing, I no longer look at text messages and think he hates me. I just wait for him to respond. That's one thing. Um, but I've learned to be more easy and just kind of go with the flow. Not all the time, though. I can tell you, we've already had like 4 conversations, me and her, about another situation ship. And it's just that's for season 2. So
Gotcha. Oh man, this is like my first love to be able to talk about relationships, because I think in relationships you find out truly who you can
mm,
become in your best light and then in your worst light, right?
mm.
And I think a lot of women need to go through those worst times, like to have those breakdowns.
Hey, Victoria.
Oh my God. Like you need to have that every now and again to kind of like rebuild and let the crappy part of yourself die,
Yeah.
because there's a
Yeah.
lot of that happens within a relationship, whether it's a good one or a really, really shitty one.
Victoria?
Like you have
Guys,
to
I'm
let
so
that die.
sorry. I
Yeah.
have a
Oh,
work situation.
okay.
Give me
We'll talk.
one
Go
sec.
go attend. Go attend to.
No, I agree with you, and I think that's exactly that's exactly how we viewed it. To go through all the emotions and all the real life situations that women have gone through or that they can relate to, because even though it's maybe not something that they've verbatim experienced, it's something similar. And I know that I'm speaking for Vicky now, that was also very important to us to say, you're not alone. We are all there. We've all been there. We all go through these kind of like less pleasant, situations.
Right, right, right. So we can kind of wind down. I don't know if Vicky will be back, but what do you want to say to the lab rats listening out there? Like, I'd really like, a lot of my audience is men, actually, but I think men should listen
I
to.
love it. I've actually had a couple of guys. God, this is so well. Whatever. Just a couple of people that I've dated. They've um, reacted really positively to the web series, which was my fear. I was like, we're really shooting for the getting the women, and we're girl power, and I was
Yeah.
kind of afraid that we were going to alienate the men, because we in our series are less than stellar
Mm.
men. But actually, I've had a lot of guys really really into it. They really dig it. They're like, it's I like the writing. I like the funny.
I think
It's
people do
witty,
too.
or so.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, your listeners are men, but that's fine. You can check it out. It's really,
Well,
it's really funny.
I always try to throw a little relationship stuff in there, but
Hmm.
what can you say to the listeners out there? Like, what is the theme of Love Asterisk, and how do you guys like now that you have this new perspective on relationships in life, how are you guys getting in the lab, so to speak, to kind of work on your craft as actresses, work on your craft as content creators, and as just people, right? Just being good people. How are you
Yeah.
guys doing that?
I think what I've learned from making the show and personal experiences, and also what you see happening in the show.
It's just like I can't.
Okay. I think what I've learned is that bad things will happen, good things will happen, but you have yourself at the end of the day, and that's who you come to rely on time and time again. It's easy to forget that in a relationship. It's easy to put a lot of pressure on that person to make you happy and to make you feel fulfilled, but it's you. And more importantly, or not more importantly, but just as importantly, having friends there and having people that catch you and say it's going to be okay, you're going to be okay. So that's what we see in the show. You expect it to be the love that you have for for someone, for significant other, and it ends up being the love that you have for the friendships that you create and the love that you have for yourself. So taking that into creating into for future projects, I think definitely for Love Asterisk season 2, it's going to be a lot of that coming into oneself and letting that be enough to be happy, but also on a personal note, it would be the same thing too, like to grow from that experience and to keep evolving from that, as opposed to just rely on that one person to provide your fulfillment, happiness, whatever, peace.
That is so on, yeah. I think yeah, I think when you come to be in a relationship, and this can happen because you've been together so long, you've come to rely on each other that way, and that is really kind of dangerous because you kind of forget who you are. And I always like to remind myself and my partner Kevin, like, um, being in a good relationship, a successful one, is being yourself with somebody else being themselves. And you kind of have to remind each other, hey, be you. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay to be you, right? And and I need to remind you sometimes that I need to be me, right? And you kind of have
yeah,
to keep each other, on track, and you kind of keep building each other. And yeah, like you said, it's so easy to get comfortable and kind of just plateau with each other's, shortcomings, and it's very easy to get distracted and become comfortable, and that's what people get stuck in a rut, or they develop a routine. And even though a routine is like safe, it's home and all of that stuff, uh, there's a dark side to it too. And so that awareness that you can kind of create for each other, and
yeah.
hopefully your partner respects that, um, that's so important. And yeah, you hit it spot on. So
Great.
Vicky's back.
Make it
Yeah. Just so you guys see the dichotomy of what our worlds are like. This is a perfect example. We are like 3 people at the same time. So when we set up this interview, I wasn't supposed to come into work, and then they asked me to come into work. And
That's
of
all
course, nobody has called me on this all day until right now.
right.
You
All
know.
right. Well, Vicky, I was just asking B about her kind of thoughts on her new perspective, her kind of message that you guys want to send out with Love Asterisk, and what your side is to that. What's the grand message that you want to send out to the listeners here?
Uh, there's there's so many, really.
What's
And I'm not
resonating
sure.
with you like right now? Like what's driving you?
What's driving me, I think I want, it's very passionate. I'm very passionate about this at the moment, and always. It's just like a clear voice for women, um, and a place for men to also understand women, but where we can just be ourselves and just kind of allow ourselves to be all sorts of the different facets that we are in relationships, and specifically in the friendship. Like, I think something that we both, Bertha and I, agree on is the importance of these 2 characters, and in our personal relationship. But like, these 2 girls are really good friends, and they are good girlfriends. Um, Unfortunately, not all friendships between girls are great, and we would want to, at least I want to, be a positive reinforcement for women backing up women and standing up for women. But that's just one aspect of the many things that we want to do. I mean, there's so many places this really. I mean, this show can travel through time because it's about love, and there's different versions of love, different relationships. So yeah, that's the one I'm focused on now.
That's great. You guys have such a great message, and I often forget about my feministic side and my feminism side because of I don't know, I just get distracted. But I want to be able to bring your message, that message, to the
Yeah.
light. So thank you so much for saying that. What are you guys working on right now? Where can people find you? Go ahead and plug anything that you want to do right now. And yeah, the stage is yours. This is your time.
Vicky, you have something.
I have something. Oh, well, there's two. I'll let you do the film one. Yeah? Okay. So, what I'm currently working on here in New York, I'm part of this directing fellowship, and I'm working on this show. I'm in the very beginnings of putting up a show at this Spanish theater company called Repertorio Español. You guys should check it out. Anybody that's in New York, if you want to watch good theater that's in Spanish or learn Spanish, they have subtitles. It's great. That show's going to be going up in July. And then I'm part of the 3 to 5, which Bertha is headlining something here. Beesies.
I think I am. We're shooting a short film, hopefully before summer. It's called Danny Boy. I wrote it, and hopefully we'll be doing a good job at directing. And after that, I'm shooting in the summer. I'm shooting a feature film. Don't know where that will go yet. It's too soon, but I just got cast in that. I'm super excited. And I guess to check out more about me, you can go to berthaleal.com, and that's my homepage, so you can go see it. And yeah.
Can you guys send me all of those links, especially the Spanish one? I was like, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely send you all the links.
Okay, cool. Yeah, send me all those links. I'll link it up.
Okay.
And thank you so much for being here with me, guys. I really appreciate it. This was a little different for the show, and that's what I like, because I have the freedom to do whatever I want, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. And I appreciate you guys reaching out.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, hey guys, we're back from that interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got to share a little bit of backstory. I'm going to be working with them a lot more closely to help them and support them on their channel. I'm now consulting for them, so that's very exciting, and it's getting very bright. I'll just leave it. So I'm about to run out of battery, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. So we'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday Tips on the Lab Rat Dailies show. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Good things. Once again, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. See you next time. Peace. Whoa, it got really bright. Let's just take that down a notch. You know, when it's all blown like this, you can't even see that I'm tan as hell.